Good morning and welcome to We Got Options with the Doctor and Son, a show about maintaining overall mental health and wellness. Thanks for joining us this morning. This morning we're going to actually talk about work life balance. When we start thinking about work life balance and the benefits of work life balance, we're talking about it in terms of having a professional job, having any type of job, or even being an entrepreneurship, being a person that have their own business and do their own services. So when we talk about work-life balance, we just want to kind of jump in, and as we're going through many more of our other broadcasts, you'll hear us talk a lot about all of the things that we kind of been talking about the past few weeks up to now, because when we think about it, all of these things that we're talking about, entrepreneurship, work-life balance, being able to make sure that you keep your finances in order, your self-care, all of these things really play a big part and a big role into trying to maintain a certain level of health in your life and wellness. So with this show today, we're going to talk about work-life balance because that's a big topic that has come about. I know a lot of our shows earlier we were talking about since COVID, but yeah, pre-COVID, post-COVID now, we call this post-COVID now. But of course, when we think about the work-life balance, COVID kind of gave us a little bit of a break, I would say. It was, again, I've said this in a few other shows, COVID has been a blessing and a curse for all of us, it seems. So with that being said, we've really seen a difference in how companies are starting to treat people when it comes down to working and making sure that you have that work-life balance going on, that you're taking care of yourself and taking care of your family. There are a lot of new incentives that have come into play since COVID. And there are a lot of things that were in play that people have no idea about. I know for a fact during COVID, a lot of people, I had to explain the FMLA, the federal guidelines on that and how that works out with family members. If it's not you that's dealing with the medical illness or, and it's your family member, your son, your daughter, your mother, your father, that's a big thing that I've had to explain to a lot of different coworkers in regards to what FMLA is about and how to use it, and that you have a right to take or to ask for it and be able to get it based on, the federal guidelines and the federal law. So a lot of times people think about it, oh, I can't get it unless I'm having a baby or if I'm having a surgery or something like that. No, there are other things that do qualify for it. Yes, major surgeries. Definitely, if there's some mental health issues, you can be written out of work and possibly go on FMLA for that 12 weeks that, where you're able to kind of get yourself together and do what you have to do. So yeah, that's a big thing to consider. But I also want to talk about some other areas as well. How do your work-life balance improve you as a person? What improvements come about and the benefits that come along with it? So a lot of times I tell folks, when you think about work-life balance, what do you think about? And people always tell me, I don't know what that means, because I believe that pre-COVID, we really didn't think about work-life balance like that. We thought about it, but it was just the same. I think post-COVID, it's something that we're living out now. What do you think?
I feel like when you talk about work-life balance, I feel like everyone 30 and younger, definitely they have that down pat. I
Exactly.
think when it comes to your age, it's more of trying to break them out of the oh you work no matter what type
Yes.
of situation
Hmm.
out of more older people. I know that was a thing in the older generation. You work unless you literally can't.
Yes, grandma works unless she can't. Literally, like she physically can't. If she was just dealing with some other stuff, she would still go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it was just a little minor tummy ache or a minor headache, oh, she's at work. Yeah. Taking time off was like, you're not supposed to be doing that.
Yeah, that was sacrilege right there.
Yes. Yes. So, a lot of times I tell people taking time off is a thing that you have to do for yourself. I call them mental health days. Of course, I'm a mental health therapist. So I call them mental health days, time to take care of you, you know? Then I think a lot of times people don't realize that, some employers do offer some good things and not even the employers, but you should offer it for yourself if you work for yourself. Time, take off time to do things such as volunteer in the community, go to your kid's school and participate at the school for a day. A lot of times I tell people thinking about taking time away just to have a day all to yourself where you do things to help maintain your lifestyle,
Yeah,
make you feel good.
yeah. It's always there's always something in our life that we can always improve on. Being a better parent,
Hmm.
being, if we have other things that we're interested in, painting, whatsoever. There's always places that we can improve on, and even do at our leisure. But
Hmm.
we sometimes fail to capitalize on those things because it's always about the grind.
Yes. I think, definitely post COVID and definitely pre COVID, now post COVID, I can definitely say that I know that flexible work schedules is starting to be a big thing for a lot of people. Everyone's looking at flexible work schedules, being able to do that hybrid, half remote, half, going into the office a few days. So, yeah. And I think also we need to consider time management. That's a big part as well. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and go to a commercial break, but come back and join us. We're going to continue to talk about work life balance. And welcome back to We Got Options with the Doctor and Son radio show. So, again, today we're talking about work life balance. And we're talking about work life balance, some of the consequences of not taking advantage of some of the things that are offered to you, or not even things that are offered to you, some of the things that you can actually do for yourself and you try to stay away from it because you want to stay on the grind and keep working. A lot of times we don't think about how that affects us and make us sometimes a grouchy person, a person that's not really taking care of themselves in many ways, not getting sleep and kind of coming home and being, you know, um, upset or dismissive with family members because, you're just overworked, you
Hmm.
know?
I mean, there have been many a times we all know the family member that comes home from work and they're done.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think our family, when we think about that, um, we definitely realize that, oh wow, they come home from work and they used to go straight to bed. There was like, they may take a shower, they're going to have a little bit to eat, and they're off to bed. And we can tell when it was a real rough day at work. And even when it was a good day at work, we still probably couldn't tell half of the time because, yeah,
I mean, nothing would ultimately change.
absolutely nothing
And
would
and and
change.
this and this is coming from a family where it was plenty of women
Hmm.
going to work. So
Yes, long working
yeah,
hours.
it was.
Yeah, the responsibilities at home. A lot of times, uh, even though there was a lot of responsibilities, those individuals that worked a lot in our family were relieved of some of those home responsibilities in order to make sure they're taking care of their
Yeah,
work
yeah.
responsibilities. Like that became.
Their work responsibilities became their priority
That's
over
correct. That's
a
correct.
lot of their home priorities.
Absolutely. So, a poor work life balance can really um, change people and definitely affect their mental health, I would say. Because I can remember being younger when the time would change in the September, October, November, that going into the fall months. Um, I tell people if it got dark at 4:30, we were probably ready for bed by 5. Yeah, I mean it was just like that sometimes. When I was a little kid, I remember that. I can remember being in bed by 6:30, almost 7 o'clock. I bet pretty much being in the house and being ready for bed. Definitely when 8 o'clock came, we were ready for bed because we were breaking the house down around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah, I mean, and when you think about the effects on not just you but the rest of your family, if you got kids, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like remembering coming home and it just being you and the kid in the house.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine to have those things. It's fine to even have the kid be independent to that extent. but sometimes that can never negatively affect the child
Oh yeah.
in a way that, like, nobody's home to at least say anything to them, or they just
Right.
have that freedom. That freedom is fine, but some days you don't always want to come home and it's just you in the house.
Right. And your parent is off to bed or,
Or
already
off to work.
off to work already, whatever the case may be. It's just, like I said, work becomes a priority. I was a latchkey kid, so I had my own key by 9 years old. And yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I did come home by myself. There was no one there. And it was a long time sometimes before someone came home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I mean,
yeah.
both. I didn't have it as early as you did, but I had it a little later on. But I was the same way. I had to come home.
Yeah, and that was
maybe
probably,
take a nap.
Yeah, that was your teenage years, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, once you moved into the house,
right? Yeah, you were about 13, 14, so you were
like in elementary school. I had after school enrichment program, so that was a different thing.
Right, absolutely. So again, when it came down to work-life balance, I think, and maybe when you were younger, I can admit that yes, we were working to try to make a living, and it was very different back then.
Well, I know, like looking back on it, I'm like, after school saved my parents' lives.
Absolutely. I mean, yes, but now that as we're looking at families nowadays, and some of the families that I do work with, I do notice that, yeah, I tell them a lot that it's great to be definitely focused on, making sure that you're, doing your job and making sure that you're, quote unquote, making money and things like that. But it's also more rich to be able to say that you have your family time or your time for yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think when it comes down to work life balance, I tell people there's no perfect answer to it. There is no perfect plan for work life balance. But I think we all should work on trying to make sure that we are taking time for ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
And we are making family the priority, or we're making ourselves priority also, or we're making, being able to
having experiences.
Yes.
Whatever you want it to be, it can be that for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't think our career should be as restraining on us as it has been in the years prior. I think prior, oh my goodness, careers were everything.
I mean, yeah, I would say that was more for your generation. I think
older,
yeah, like after our generation, it kind of just crumbled apart because the careers were just not there.
That's true. I truly believe that. Yes, 2010 graduates from high school and college. Yeah,
and everybody on
down. And everybody on down. It was definitely some concerns there. Yeah. So prioritizing your health first is definitely serious business when it comes to work-life balance. So, we just really want to focus on a good bit of understanding what work-life balance is, how it will benefit you, and some of the ways to get to pretty much a better state, a better healthy state. Definitely managing your mental health, and definitely being able to get out and do some physical exercise to kind of maintain some of your wellness, eating well, and things of that nature. So we'll be back after some words from our sponsor. And thanks for tuning back into We Got Options with the Dr. and Son radio show. So today we are definitely following up on this whole point of work-life balance and what it looks like and what could be done. We talked about some of the effects of being at home. In this part, I just want to talk a little bit about some of the positive things that can be incorporated to make it a positive working environment. So like I usually tell people, if these are things that you feel like, oh my goodness, all the things that they said is not things that I can incorporate at my work, or I've tried to.
They're not applicable to you.
Yeah, then it might not be the best working place for you. And you might have to consider, taking a leap of faith and doing something a little bit different. One of the things I always tell people about being in mental health is there are a million mental health jobs out there. So if I want to do the same thing at one hospital, I can just jump to the next hospital if the working environment is not healthy enough for me, or the working environment is not as positive as accommodating as I would like it to be. I understand. Yes. So talking about trying to create and help maintain a positive helping a work environment to basically help make it a more positive work experience. I always tell people, yes, we always talk about the productivity of work and things like that, which can sometimes be stressful on people. But I tell people a lot of times, if you can incorporate some of these things as far as improving the morale, sometimes thinking about different ideas that would help establish growth, or even creating little small clubs at work, like the birthday club, or creating a Christmas party type scenario that you
Secret
have
Santa.
every year. Yeah, Secret Santa stuff. Absolutely. So a lot of times, promoting collaboration and doing things with your coworkers and coming up with, I know some employers will allow people to, different teams to come up with different activities, like a walking group, or a group that meets outside of work or something like that, having some drinks or having some just some quality time outside of work with your coworkers. I always tell individuals that creating that type of safe environment, or encouraging people to create that type of safe environment, that type of healthy environment at work, always is better when it comes down to promoting, just good vibes, and being able to maintain, being able to do the things that feel comfortable with, and you feel good about your job, make you feel good about your job,
And remember, when you talk about things with your coworkers, you don't have to make friends with everyone.
Oh, absolutely. You don't have to be friends with everyone. I always tell people, we came here to work. Making friends is a great thing to have, but it is not a must at work. We are there to work, and we do want to feel comfortable. We do want to feel, open with our coworkers and stuff. But again, my coworker don't have to be my personal friend. They don't have to know, my personal business, what's going on in my life, for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If it because sometimes some friendships can be burdensome.
Right. Because sometimes I know with us being mental health counselors, a lot of times when we go into work, and if I have to hear about her son one more time, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a lot. And it's never a great story. It's always, oh my goodness, that boy had me up all night, or I was at the police station, or something like that. So, sometimes, having some more positive, good stories I can deal with, but like, oh, he graduated from high school. Okay, wonderful, but sometimes just hearing some of that stuff, like I said, we don't have to be close friends. And sometimes someone may have something that happened, real near and dear to them. Someone could possibly, their husband could pass away or something like that. And so we do understand things like that. But again, having a supportive environment, I believe that that's something that supports the fact that if someone's husband do pass away, or wife do pass away at work, we're able to support that person and help them, through this rough time, and help them to feel the love from their coworkers. So I think supporting a healthy, positive working environment, whether you're at work or whether you're in your own business and you have your employees there working with you, or colleagues, however you guys are doing it, when it comes down to your own business. And I really think that creating that positive environment with opportunities for growth, also positive thinking, collaborative efforts, and really thinking about having a good work-life balance overall. I think those are things to really consider, productive environments, open, honest communications, focus on the compassion for your teammates or your coworkers, your colleagues, positive reinforcements, and think about the growth opportunity. Where else can people be able to grow? I know in our business, I like to really be positive with people, and a lot of the intern therapists that come along with us, as well as the other therapists that come and work with us, I try to help everyone. Besides working in my business, I try to help them create their own business, so that they can have kind of the same thing as their, I guess, side hustle, I would say. But they can start to develop their own clients and still be able to work in my practice. And even if they have to see those clients in my practice, because I have the brick and mortar, I have the building, I try to encourage that. I try to help them to move forward and try to make sure that they understand that, we're a team, we're a family, we're trying to grow.
We're trying to grow together, not
right.
You're not growing for me, you're growing for yourself.
Absolutely. So that's one of the things definitely that we support and we put out there as good work life balance when it comes down to working definitely in our practice. So all right. So that is our show today. We are finishing up the conversation about work life balance. And we want to say thank you for joining us today. And make sure you tune in next week, 8:30 a.m. Friday morning, for We Got Options with the Doctor and Son. See you next time.